next class. In today's class, we are going to discuss semi-conservative DNA replication. First thing is that, see, when Watson and Crick had proposed the model of the structure of DNA, it is at that time itself that they have already stated that how the DNA would replicate and make a copy of itself. It is at that time itself when they had already stated that DNA replication process would be semi-conservative in nature. Now the question is, what is the meaning of semi-conservative DNA replication? It simply means that if suppose this is the parental DNA, okay, 5 prime to 3 prime, 3 prime to 5 prime, isn't it? So if this is the DNA that has to replicate, suppose these are the two strands A and B. When DNA replication would occur, the two parental strands would uncoil and separate, exposing their nitrogenous bases, and using the nitrogenous base, okay, or by base complementarity rule, a new daughter strand will be synthesized. Suppose ये A था, ये B, तो अभी new chain has been synthesized using A as a template, say it is C. Likewise, using B as a template, another daughter strand will be synthesized, say D. Okay, the polarity will be as such, 3 prime to 5 prime. Okay? So from one DNA, we have already successfully made 2 DNA, isn't it? So DNA has replicated itself. But in the replicated copies of DNA, you can see clearly one of the strand is the old parental strand and only one of the strand has been newly synthesized, isn't it? So in that case, this is what is known as semi-conservative DNA replication. So when a DNA would copy or it would be replicating itself, both the strands would not be newly synthesized. One of the strand will be the old parental strand, using which as a template a new daughter strand will be synthesized. Understood? So this is the a process, or this is the mode how DNA replication occurs, and it was already proposed by Watson and Crick. Now, DNA replication being semi-conservative in nature was experimentally proven by two scientists, Michelson and Stahl, in 1958. So let's see what the experiment was all about. So it is Michelson and Stahl's experiment conducted in 1958. Okay, they used E. coli cells for the experiment and heavy isotope of nitrogen N15. Okay, for this experiment N15, the heavy isotope of nitrogen, and E. coli cells were used. Also, Michelson and Stahl had formed a very unique technique of density gradient examination. Okay, so the entire experiment is based on the technique of cesium fluoride density gradient ultracentrifugation. You first try to understand what is cesium fluoride density gradient ultracentrifugation, or what was the technique behind the experiment. Only after that I will tell you the experiment about, okay, the steps of the experiment. So see, suppose, say I take a test tube and इस test tube में I put cesium chloride solution. Okay, cesium chloride salt I dissolve in water and form a solution of it. Cesium chloride is a very highly dense solution, isn't it? तो इस highly dense solution को if you allow it to undergo centrifugation, तो आफ्टर सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन आपको क्या मिलेगा? आफ्टर सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन आप देखोगे कि cesium being very dense, it will not equally distribute itself throughout the solution. After centrifugation, you will find that cesium will be found in differential manner throughout the solution. मतलब the cesium will be more towards the base, and as you gradually move up towards the surface, amount of cesium will be reducing. तो throughout the solution एक density gradient बन गया कि नहीं, due to cesium being differentially positioning itself or differentially present in the whole solution. ठीक है, एक density gradient बन गया. Now along with cesium chloride solution, अगर कोई भी solution of lighter density, if you had added to the medium, if you had added while centrifugation had taken place, तो क्या आप देखते कि जो लाइटर डेंसिटी का सोल्यूशन है आफ्टर सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन, वो लाइटर डेंसिटी के सोल्यूशन ने एक बैंड फॉर्म किया होता. सीजियम क्लोराइड सोल्यूशन के ऊपर लाइटर डेंसिटी वाला जो सोल्यूशन है उसने एक बैंड फॉर्म किया होता, एंड दैट बैंड विल बी फॉर्म्ड एज पर इट्स ओन डेंसिटी. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये जो होल सीजियम क्लोराइड सोल्यूशन है वो तो एक डेंसिटी ग्रेडियंट के हिसाब से बना हुआ है. तो जो लाइटर डेंसिटी का सोल्यूशन होता वो अकॉर्डिंग टू इट्स ओन डेंसिटी इट वुड हैव पोजीशनड इटसेल्फ इन द मीडियम. मतलब इफ द डेंसिटी ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर सोल्यूशन जो आपने ऐड किया है, इफ इट वुड हैव बीन हेवियर, सो इट विल बी टुवर्ड्स द बेस, इट विल फॉर्म अ बैंड टुवर्ड्स द बेस, एंड इफ the density of this solution would have been less, it would form a band towards the surface. So accordingly we can easily understand according to the band कि वो solution का density क्या है, whether it's heavy or it's light or it's intermediate. According to where the band is formed, you can estimate the density of that solution जो आपने cesium chloride के साथ add किया होगा. ठीक है, this is the very technique using which Messelson and Stahl had conducted the experiment of semi-conservative DNA replication. समझ में आया? तो अभी देखो एक्सपेरिमेंट में क्या होगा. द एक्सपेरिमेंट इज वेरी सिंपल. अदरवाइज एन इकोलाई प्लेट वाज प्रिपेयर्ड. इकोलाई प्लेट में the nitrogen source that was added was ammonium chloride, NH4Cl, where the nitrogen is N15. Okay, heavy isotope of nitrogen has been added. तो इस प्लेट में जहां पे इकोलाई ग्रो कर रहा है, इस प्लेट में नॉर्मल नाइट्रोजन है ही नहीं, N15 has been added, so that in the E. coli which is continuously multiplying in the plate, for those E. coli the nitrogen N15 will get incorporated in its DNA, है ना. तो नॉर्मल E. coli के DNA से obviously इस E. coli का DNA heavy होगा because it does not have N14 incorporated in it, rather it has N15. समझ में आया? So अगर आप इस E. coli को जिसका DNA में N15 incorporated है, अगर इस पर्टिकुलर E. coli के DNA को आप सीजियम क्लोराइड डेंसिटी ग्रेडियंट में रन करोगे तो you will find that the band will be somewhere towards the base. क्यों? क्योंकि obviously it is heavy DNA. heavy क्यों है? because it is N15 मतलब DNA के दोनों स्ट्रैंड में N15 has been successfully incorporated. So the DNA being heavier, it is N15 DNA, the band is towards the base. समझ में आया? उसी जगह पे अगर आप कंपेयर करने के लिए सपोज आई मेक अ कंट्रोल मतलब जिसके साथ एक स्टैंडर्ड विथ विच यू कैन कंपेयर द रिजल्ट ऑफ योर एक्सपेरिमेंट. ठीक है, सपोज मैंने एक नॉर्मल इकोलाई प्लेट बनाया. आई प्रिपेयर अ नॉर्मल इकोलाई प्लेट जिसमें नॉर्मल नाइट्रोजन ऐड किया हुआ है N14. ठीक है, सो इस इकोलाई को अगर आप सीजियम क्लोराइड डेंसिटी ग्रेडियंट में इफ यू अलाउ इट टू run, you will find that the E. coli DNA will form a band somewhere towards the surface. क्यों? क्योंकि इसका जो DNA है it's lighter, it's N14 N14. समझ में आया? Clear? ठीक है? N15 DNA being heavier, the band is towards the base. Otherwise, it's towards the surface. When it is normal N14 DNA. इतना समझ में आ गया? अभी देखो. In the experiment, what was done is after a few generations of E. coli have been allowed to grow in the N15 culture media, a fresh culture media is prepared which consists of normal N14. ठीक है? And E. coli from this plate, N15 plate, is inoculated in the normal N14 plate. And these E. coli are allowed to grow for several generations, but their DNA's density will be checked with every passing generation. How? अभी आपको पता है कि a typical bacteria will divide every 20 minutes. ठीक है? So exactly after inoculation या transfer of E. coli करने के बाद exactly after 20 minutes, E. coli from this plate was taken and it was run in the cesium chloride density gradient. When it was allowed to run, can you imagine where the band would be formed? Will it be like this here towards the surface, or will it be towards the base? It was neither here, it was neither there. Rather, this time exactly after 20 minutes of inoculation, the E. coli DNA would form a band somewhere in between. In between this band and this band. Somewhere in intermediate zone, a band will be formed. Now this intermediate DNA or intermediate density is only possible when the DNA would be having two strands, one N15, one N14. Right? और इससे क्या प्रूव होता है? इससे ये प्रूव होता है कि जब E. coli को इधर ट्रांसफर किया गया था, the E. coli had N15 DNA, है ना? After 20 minutes, when the DNA had to replicate, the parental strand separated, N15 had separated. अभी नया डॉटर स्ट्रैंड फॉर्म करना होगा, तो डॉटर स्ट्रैंड को सिंथेसाइज करने के लिए जो नाइट्रोजन अभी अवेलेबल है प्लेट में, वो क्या नाइट्रोजन है? N14 नाइट्रोजन है. तो फिर द डॉटर स्ट्रैंड्स विल बी N14. Isn't it? So only in case the DNA replication is semi-conservative in nature, तभी जाके एक ऐसा हाइब्रिड DNA पॉसिबल है. N15 N14 DNA पॉसिबल है, अदरवाइज तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. Is there any other explanation for this intermediate density DNA to be formed after 20 minutes of inoculation? इसका तो और कोई explanation ही आप नहीं दे सकते, isn't it? So from this intermediate band being formed, as we know this DNA is N15 and N14, we can easily say that DNA replication is indeed semi-conservative in nature. समझ में आया? So this is what is Michelson and Stahl experiment all about. I hope all of you are clear about it. In the next class, we'll discuss DNA replication mechanism.